You're watching Soulful Discussions.
All right, so hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
All right. So real quick, just for everybody, how did we just like meet right now? How did our paths cross?
Well, I was reading a book on the beach,
Okay.
and you approached me.
Absolutely. So I approached you. What did I tell you this was going to be about? What are we doing today?
Just opinions about, you said mental health, reflexology,
Yep.
and I forgot what the third one.
Feet. Your thoughts on feet? Absolutely. So first of all, when you hear the term feet, what do you think about?
When I think of feet, like right now, my foot is asleep.
Your foot is asleep. Okay. It's probably because you got your legs crossed. Like you might want to like readjust or something.
Right now, I'm thinking about how my foot is asleep.
Oh wow. Okay.
And how I need to move it.
Okay.
Because I was sitting down.
Okay. All right.
So that's the first thing that popped into my head because I'm feeling that right now.
There it is. So it's like in the moment, that's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
All right.
Yeah.
So cool. We're gonna ask some questions today in terms of feet, and we're just like I said, your opinions, however you feel about it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about mental health? Any topics or like things that you're interested in that come to mind when you hear that term?
Mental health, yes. Well, I'm here at the beach because of my mental health.
Oh, okay. Nice.
You know, it helps to be by the ocean. It's actually like a de-stressor to be outside and in nature.
Mm-hmm.
It de-stresses me. I'm reading a book, which is also a de-stressor. I'm an attorney, so
Oh, that's dope.
I, have to do a lot of things that are, it's, the nature of that career is stressful. So I need to do things like this for my mental health, like walk at the beach, read.
So basically like unplugging
Yes,
from like
unplugging.
the norm, because I'm pretty sure you probably get a lot of phone calls, emails,
Yes.
different things going on a daily basis. So just like kind of like step away from that for a while and like just come out, like you said, read a book, be near the beach, just listen to the waves. That's like very relaxing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about social media, the impacts it can have on like depression and anxiety. So I'd love to get your thoughts once we get there, okay?
I think it could trigger.
Oh, not yet.
No.
I'm just letting you know what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
Okay. What about reflexology? Have you ever heard of it before? Sound familiar?
Reflexology, well, whenever you go to those like foot massage places,
Okay.
like they always do like some sort of like foot massage, reflexology.
Absolutely.
So I think that's as far as I know about that topic.
Okay. So we'll go a little bit more in depth. I'll give you some information today, and then you can just tell me like what your thoughts are about it once we get there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the first question. What are your thoughts about how the world's starting to become more aware of like mental health and what we're doing about it?
I think it's great that the world is talking more about mental health because it's such an important aspect that needs more education.
Mm-hmm.
Especially coming, because I mean, as a Latina, they kind of like brush off mental health, and I think it's so important because there's a lot of traits that are very toxic that are repeated in our culture that we need to become more aware of, and I think our parents and ancestors need to be more educated on the topic so that they don't do that to other, their children, because I know I've been a victim of that for so many years. So I think it's a topic that I know that should be addressed more, and there should be more education in it, whether it, in Spanish and in English.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that I'm finding when I'm going out and I'm asking this question, especially for minorities, like I think we grow up a lot of times with like a lack of resources for like stuff like that. So like a lot of times like that's kind of how our grandparents had to deal with it. It was just like you didn't really talk about it. You just like had to like push through. And so like now that there's more awareness around it, you have more people talking about it. It seems to be like better for, like you said, like minorities and things like that. So absolutely. In terms of social media, right? First of all, what are your thoughts about it, and then how do you use it yourself?
I mean, I use it just for like, my own thing, personal reasons. Now I'm gonna start using it for like business.
Your business, yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm starting off, as an immigration attorney, a brand new one.
Nice.
So I'm just starting off, and social media, I'm gonna use it more for like business now, more than just posting once in a while with me and my friends.
Yeah, cross-platforming basically.
Yeah.
That's really dope. Man. Like I think you're seeing it a lot more. People are starting to use it as a tool to like promote themselves and what they're doing, so that they grow awareness out there. There may be people who like need that those type of services or whatever like that, and like seeing you might like push them in your direction. So that's definitely dope. In terms of social media, right? Let's say somebody came to you and said, change whatever you want about it. Is there any anything that you change, or like, do you think it's okay the way it is?
I think it's okay the way it is because it's so versatile. I mean, you can use it for whatever you want to. And, you know, like anything you want to use it as, whether you just want to use it to post your whole life, or whether you want to use it for business, or whether you just want to do it just to like know what other people are doing. You know what other people, if you want to be like what we call it.
That term is very familiar. I hear that a lot.
So if you just want to be a chismosa, that's fine. You know, you can use it however you want to.
Yeah, so it's more the person who's using it that like determines how it's used. I like that. That's usually what I hear. I hear that, you know, it's not so much changing anything within the system. The system is fine how it is. It's just that people use it for whatever they use it for. So absolutely. In terms of anxiety, right? Is there anything in life that brings you anxiety? And when you do feel anxiety, if you do, what do you do to overcome it?
As someone who has struggled with anxiety, because I have struggled with anxiety, and depression, and you know, it's been mostly centered on like, I guess, my career and the career choice that I chose. And
it's like you're in it now.
You know, as a person who failed the bar multiple times, like that's something that brought me a lot of anxiety. I had a very toxic mother, and she was basically a lot of my source of my anxiety, just the way she was and how toxic it was. And you know, that would bring me a lot of anxiety. And I guess one of the ways, to overcome that was, I mean, as a churchgoer too, you know, I spent a lot of time having faith, spending a lot of time, you know, I guess, you know, reading the word, praying is also helpful, but also there's a physical aspect to it. Like exercising every day, you know, exercising often, you know, whether like right now after I'm done reading, like now I'm done reading this chapter, I mean, I get to go walk on the beach, and that also helps you alleviate anxiety.
Absolutely. I think that those things tend to make up a lot of like differences, like just like putting yourself in the right space, like you said, just coming out, reading the book, listening to the waves, unplugging, walking, like those things like tend to like really help out a lot. That's really dope. All right, so now let's get into these questions. I'm going to be intrigued to see what your thoughts are about these questions, okay? What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about your feet?
How do I feel about my feet?
Yep.
My foot is asleep.
Right now it's asleep. It's asleep. You see her doing it. It's asleep.
I felt like it got more asleep right now. So I guess my thoughts on feet, just general, like things that come up to my mind, are, well, I just got a pedicure yesterday.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You know,
self-care, right?
Self-care, you know, I just got a pedicure yesterday.
Okay.
Right now it's asleep, and, you know, exercising.
So here's what I want to know. Like, in terms of aesthetics, do you like your feet? You think
I do like my feet.
So you like your feet, okay. In terms of your feet, have you ever received any compliments from anybody? Anybody ever said, hey, you have really nice feet?
Actually, I have.
Okay, so you have received that. Okay.
I have.
So in terms of that, when you receive a compliment about that, right, how does it make you feel?
I think any compliment is a good compliment.
Nice.
Because, well, words of affirmation are my love language. So I think any compliment is a good compliment, whether it's your feet, your hair, your nails, your eyes, it doesn't matter.
Nice.
I think that when you're giving a word of encouragement or when you're giving a word of life, any compliment is good.
That's dope. That's dope. So in terms of like compliments you receive, right? Not just about your feet, but in general. What are compliments that you prefer to receive? Like you said, like when you get that compliment, you're like, man, I really love that. That really made me feel good.
I think since, like I said, words of affirmation are my love language. So I think any kind of compliment is a good compliment. Okay. Whether someone's telling you, oh, you're so smart, or you're so beautiful, or you know, whatever it may be.
Like you work hard, the work that you did was really nice.
Or I'm so grateful for you, or things like that are always something that kind of like, I guess I thrive on that kind of behavior.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, I think we all need to hear it, because I think sometimes people don't hear it, and it makes them like, well, dang, I don't know if I am this. And it may cause like self-doubt and things like that. So hearing it from people every now and then is always good. Absolutely. In terms of dating, like if you were gonna start dating somebody, or if you were dating somebody, what is something you would consider to be a potential deal breaker and a potential partner?
A deal breaker?
Yeah, something you're like, not dealing with that, can't deal with that.
I guess a person who, like I said, who's not, I guess not not willing to I guess I would have to base it on, like, I guess my most recent relationship.
Okay.
I'm really big on culture and, like, you know, doing stuff that's, like, I guess emotionally fulfilling, and I guess people who are not willing to do that,
Yeah.
who are not willing to, like, you know, be open to your culture.
Yep.
And a person who's not willing to give you words of affirmation.
I think that's big. Like, especially like you said, if that's your love language,
Yeah.
if you never receive that, you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
what am I doing here? Like, what is the point?
Yeah, because I had that moment.
Oh, wow. Wow. You're like, well, what's going on here? Never hear anything.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. All right.
So,
That's dope, man. I love that. In terms of pedicures, how often do you get pedicures?
I got one yesterday, and I mean, I guess once a month or once every 2 months.
Gel?
Not on my feet gel.
Okay, so you get regular.
I just get a regular.
Okay. Now, is there a reason why you don't get gel? Is it?
I just feel like I only need, I don't really need gel for my feet.
Okay.
I only need them for my hands.
I hear that gel lasts longer. That's why I asked.
It does, but I mean, I feel like even the regular one lasts a long time on my feet.
There it is. That's dope. Okay. Now, in terms of pedicures, have you ever heard of a medical pedicure before?
A medical pedicure?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had one before?
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay.
Because I had to go to the foot doctor a few years ago.
Okay.
And so she gave me like a like, I guess, medical pedicure.
Yeah. So it's basically like they don't use colors there. It's just like more clear coats.
Uh-huh.
But those podiatrists and stuff, they're like there to like give you more insight into your feet, right? Like you might have like a ingrown toenail, or you know, you're struggling with like you know, fungus or dead skin or anything like that. They can kind of give you tips and stuff like on your feet for that. So what are your thoughts about that? Kind of when you went, was it a good experience?
It was a great experience.
Nice.
Actually,
Nice.
I had a great doctor here in Long Beach.
Okay.
And I found her on like Groupon.
Okay.
And, I had like a fungus, and she like got rid of it. Was so detailed about like what was going on with the process, and she was great.
That's dope. That's dope.
She was great.
I always love hearing that, and I actually got this information like, so when I first started doing my interviews, I met a lady and she like told me like, I never get cosmetic pedicures, only medical ones, and I was like, well, what is that? She gave me the explanation and everything, and some of the people on my channel have gone and gotten those done, like people who are subscribers, and they always said like it's a very great experience. Like,
I just happened to find a great doctor. And she was like,
by chance, so you're on Groupon, like,
I was like on Groupon because I had gotten a fungus, and then I had seen like laser removal for fungus, and I went in there, and it was like her and her staff was just great.
That's dope. That's dope. I really love that. In terms of shoes, how often you wear open toe shoes, sandals, flip flops, things like that?
I like my sandals and my open toes.
Okay.
Right now I'm wearing Asics. So better
you got
for
your tennis shoes on. More comfortable.
I have Asics, so that's more. It gives you more support for your feet. So I'm wearing more supportive shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like every now and then you'll tend to go to like open toe shoes, like maybe for special occasions and things like that, maybe. Perhaps. Yep. Okay. How often do you go barefoot? No shoes.
When I'm at home.
Okay. What about on the beach? You said you're going to walk on the beach. Are you just gonna stay on the road? You're not going out in the sand?
Yeah, because it'll be for exercise.
Okay. So you're not going into the sand.
Not really to put my foot in the sand.
Got it. That makes sense. Have you ever heard of earthing and grounding before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Is that something you ever do, like every now and then?
No, but I've heard it's really good, and I haven't done it.
It would be great for you. So I mean, because you talk about like being a lawyer, a lot of things that you have, like having that mental space clogged, like just going out into grass and just like letting your feet like feel like, you know, how the grass feels, and like being at the beach, things like that can like really help unplug some of that mental space that may be clogged. So that's what I hear from like a lot of people who like try it. It's like a very like relaxing experience. So just in case you're looking for something like that, that might be helpful.
Yeah, I had a pastor who was really into that a few years ago.
Okay.
So that's why I said I know I've heard it because she said something about it only takes 15 minutes
Yeah.
for you to just walk on the grass.
10, 15 minutes, that's it.
You know, we don't see the difference, but it really does make a difference.
It's a big difference in feel, like, especially if you were always in shoes. Just to go and like do that just for like 10, 15 minutes. Huge difference. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so now, can we see what your feet look like?
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, so first of all, and you can leave your socks on for now. What size do you wear?
I wear a size 7.
Size 7. Does it vary depending on the type of shoe you're wearing?
Yeah, because sometimes I can be a 6.5.
Oh, okay,
sometimes the fit is better as a 6.
So like a sandal, or it might be like a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let me get you to take both off, and then just leave your socks on for now. Let me get you to take both shoes off, or just leave your socks on.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I always like to get a comparison because sometimes people have like a half size smaller or something like that. So just see the difference. Okay. All right. And then let me get you to stand out like this and get your foot like that. All right. Cool. All right. And you can remove your socks now. All right.
Okay.
And so you just got a pedicure yesterday, and it looks like we got like a fuchsia. Is that like a purple
Yeah, it's kind of like
color?
a fuchsia color.
Looks really nice. Looks really nice. Okay. All right. Let me get you, if you can bend your knees and just put your toes down flat. Yeah, like that. Cool. Just a little closer. All right. Cool. You got a great toe alignment. Now, I don't know if you've heard about the different toe alignments they have. So depending on if your like bigger toe is bigger or if your second toe is bigger, like they tend to be different toe alignments. So it looks like, is your second toe bigger? Slightly bigger? Okay,
I mean,
over here it looks like
it looks like a line like that over here, and it looks a little different right here.
So it looks like your second toe is a little bigger here, and then it looks like your bigger toe is bigger over here. So you have what's called the Grecian over here, Egyptian over here, which is very interesting. I always like, sometimes I run into people who have two different ones. You're one of those. All right, so you get your feet out
what is
straight
that?
like this.
I don't know what that means, but
So if like people who are have Egyptian toe alignments, you may have some Egyptian heritage in there somewhere. So people who have Grecian usually have some like Greek heritage in there. So it looks like you have a little bit of both. So that's very interesting. All right, put your feet out straight like this and toes
I've been
up.
wanting to do one of those Ancestry.com or
Absolutely.
23andMe or whatever.
Yeah. And put both feet next to each other. I like this. Yeah.
Oh, like that.
Just how you had them before. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, how are you feeling? I met you like maybe like 15 minutes ago. We've been asking some questions and stuff like this. We asked to see what your feet look like. What are your thoughts? How are we feeling right now?
I mean, I didn't feel like you had any bad energy.
I love the fact that when people tell me like, hey man, you didn't come across as being some like creepy or anything. Love that. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of like insight into like why I started my channel, the mental health side of it, okay? And then leave your feet up. We're gonna go through a couple more exercises, okay? So during quarantine, I was watching another guy's channel, and he was talking about this mental health term that like called exposure therapy. Are you familiar with that?
Exposure therapy?
Yeah. So it's for people who like tend to not live in the moment, right? So, for example, you're presented with a situation and like you tend to start thinking about all the different things that can happen. Like this might happen, that might happen, and to the point you think yourself out of the situation, right? So, what therapists do for people who like suffer with that, like they have a hard time making decisions, they tell them to go out and put themselves in those situations, right? So, for example, if you have a fear of approaching strangers, right? You're afraid to like talk to strangers. They'll tell you, go out, do that, do it over and over again, right? What they want you to do is they want you to get used to like the uncomfortable feelings that you feel during those moments, right? And when you're in those moments and you feel uncomfortable, they want you to do a self-assessment and say, okay, like what's happening here? Is anything threatening my life? Anything threatening my safety? And if there's nothing you can find that's doing that, then it's like, what are you worried about then, right? Yeah. Go ahead and proceed with life, like, because you could be preventing yourself from like experiencing like a good event, a good moment, things like that. So when I heard about that, I was like, okay, like in the past, I've always been somebody like that, like presented with a situation, I'm like, I don't know, like I overthink it. And so I was like, okay, I want to go out and I want to try this. Let me take that turn. Let me attach it with feet because a lot of people feel like uncomfortable with it. A lot of people feel like there's like negative connotations and things like that attached to it. To see what type of like reactions I would get from women, right? So basically, like for some people who may be like interested, right? They may have a liking to that. They may like the aesthetics of how feet look, right? They may feel uncomfortable to say that to somebody because they're afraid that like
it'll come off as weird.
They're gonna come across as weird, that people are gonna look at them and like look down on them. So my channel is all about like going out to get different women's reactions about how they feel about it, to see if they can be comfortable like going through the steps and all that, to show that to people to see like there's nothing wrong with it. You can go and talk to people about it. You may get some people who are like completely like turned off by it, but some people may be interested in like, yeah, cool, it's no worries. So what are your thoughts about that? Because I'm like trying to normalize the conversation about feet, like make it more of a normal thing as opposed to it being like a negative thing. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I don't think we should have any negative connotation about our body parts.
Absolutely, because it's human anatomy, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. But I just think that there's some people who like do tend to like think that way, and it's like because of those people, like you get like a lot of negatives like attached to it. So glad that you're like somebody who's like a more open-minded person and like you're willing to like go along with the experience. Definitely appreciate that. All right. So in terms of reflexology, let's jump into that now. So reflexology is all about the different pressure points you actually have in your hands and in your feet, right? All of these pressure points and like nerve endings, they're like connected to different parts of your body. So for example, let's say through a massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can actually alleviate stress and tension to like different parts of your body. So if you're somebody who deals with migraines, for example, right, there's actually a portion of your foot and your hands you can massage that will alleviate tension when you feel those moments, right?
I have heard that.
Yeah, and there's also like a piercing you can get in your ear that will do the same thing. So like, yeah, different parts of the body. So what are your thoughts about that? Kind of like what it can do for me from like a more like holistic standpoint.
Personally, I get a massage once a month.
Oh, dope. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I love massages.
Nice.
It just does the body good.
Nice. Nice. So you're one of the people who've experienced it. You can talk to it. Definitely like appreciate that. So usually when we get to reflexology, we usually talk about sensitivity, right? How ticklish do you tend to be?
I'm not that ticklish.
Really?
And usually massages, depending on like what I'm going through,
Okay.
they can be very painful for me.
Really?
Yeah, they can be painful.
So yours is on the opposite side.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll get like a lot of tension, and then they'll like go around.
Yeah, they gotta go deep.
They gotta go deep because I have all these like knots and stuff like that. So they're like digging deep, and it's actually hurts me of how deep it is, but I know how good it's gonna feel
afterwards. Yeah,
how my body's gonna be relaxed, so I kind of like just deal with
it's
pain.
like just gotta deal with it. I'm just here.
But sometimes I do get like just a lot of relaxation out of it.
Okay. So now when you get pedicures, you're not ever ticklish when you during those moments you get pedicures?
I think when they're like cleaning off like the excess, that's when I'm like,
it's like a little bit. Okay.
Gosh, it's not like ticklish, but it starts to hurt.
Okay.
And I start to feel sensitive.
All right. Do you mind if we do a sensitivity test to check to see like how sensitive you tend to be?
A sensitivity test?
Yeah.
Like what kind of sensitivity test?
So I just have a tool to use just to like test the sensitivity to see how ticklish you are or whatever like that. Is that cool? Because I actually have a trick to like help out
what
with
are you
alleviate.
Use?
Huh? It's a wheel that was actually created to test like sensitivity in the body. Like it's for neurological reasons.
Oh, you like have like an actual like
a tool. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And so just put your feet back out like straight, like this. What I'll do is I'll start with your right foot and then I'll work my way up. And then we'll go to your left, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, so stop straight, and then point them more up. There you go. All right, so I'm starting with the right one. Work my way from bottom to top. Tell me where it's most sensitive, and then we'll try your left one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Where do you feel it at?
Right there.
Right
in the middle.
there. So it's right in your arch.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to work my way all the way up. So just tell me if it's more sensitive towards the top. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you said right there is the worst. What about towards the top? Nothing really.
No.
So right there is your foot. All right, let's try your left foot, okay? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Right
Same
there,
thing?
Same thing.
Okay, nothing but at the top though, right? But like right in this area, you feel it the most. What is the sensation that you feel like from 1 to 10?
I guess like a needle. I feel like a needle is coming across.
Okay. So is it like a scale out of 1 out of 10, or how sensitive is it?
I don't know, like a 6 or a 7.
6 or 7. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Put your feet back close together. Put them close together. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I want you to wiggle your toes while I'm doing it. Tell me if you feel it more or less. Wiggle your toes here. All right. You feel it more or less?
A little bit less.
A little bit less. Do you know why?
Because I guess the toes are distracted.
So your mind is like actively thinking about, let me do this, right? But at the same time, your muscles are moving. So like it's like preventing you from being able to feel that different sensation in those areas. All right. Let's try your left. Which one of your feet were most sensitive when I was doing this?
I think the right one.
The right one. Are you right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the reason why. Let's try your left. Tell me if it's less. Okay. Wiggle here. Okay. All right. Less or more?
Less.
Less. What did it go down to? Because you said originally
Like
on
a
a scale of 1
5.
to 10, so it was at a 7.
I could still feel it, but it's more sensitive still in the arch. But I could still feel like when you're distracted, you don't feel like the need
as
to like
much.
jump.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know,
Okay,
you don't feel that reaction.
nice. So last thing we'll do, put your feet back up straight like this. All right.
Okay.
And we'll get you to do a couple exercises to test like the flexibility and the dexterity you have in your feet. Okay.
Okay.
Bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort while you're doing it. Is that easy to do or hard to do?
It's easy to do.
Easy to do, no pain or anything?
No.
Okay, relax. Let me get you to spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort while you're doing that. Okay, pretty good spread there. Not too bad. Okay, relax. Okay, the last thing, wiggle your toes for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything like that. Relatively easy to do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so let's wrap it up. And let me give you like a couple tips like you can do to like kind of like create more flexibility in your feet and like kind of relax them. Take a golf ball or tennis ball, right? In the morning times, like lay it on the ground, put your foot and just roll it across it. It'll loosen up all the tendons and the muscles that you have in your feet. Cool?
Cool.
All right, so let's start with the interview. In terms of my approach, right, when I came up to you and I said, hey, you're interested in doing a video with me for YouTube, what were your thoughts about it? Was it good? Was it bad? Anything I could do better?
No, I mean, it was fine. I mean, I agreed to do it.
Absolutely. So I did something right there.
Yeah. It was, I guess, the approach, the more of like, hey, you know, like a friendly approach.
Absolutely.
So that was something good.
Nice.
Maybe you should just talk more about like what it is.
Well, so I try to
just a little, I guess, elevator speech.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make it be impromptu, so I don't want to give away too much. I want the person to like just think in the moment. I don't want them to like be like, okay, well I heard this, so now I'm gonna react this way. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the reason I do it like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in terms of the interview, right, from start to finish, could you see how everything was going in the line? Did it make sense to you? Did you learn anything new?
It made sense to me.
Okay, so it made sense. Did you learn anything new from the information I provided? Or maybe
I
more expanded upon knowledge or anything like that?
What I liked hearing that was different was you said something about the exposure therapy.
Yeah.
I had never heard it that way.
Yeah.
So it's always good to listen to different perspectives on how to do new things, because it just kind of expands your mind and expands your understanding.
Yeah. When I first heard about it, that's how I thought about it. I was like, man, wow, like there's this term that I can actually go out and like practice doing something that I struggle with. And so it's like, for me, it was like always, I don't care what it is. Like I'm presented with a situation and I would just sit there and be like, man, this could happen, that could happen. And just like overthinking everything. So absolutely. So the last thing I always ask, right, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that maybe you learned, wise words that maybe somebody shared with you that you can share on my channel that could be helpful.
As far as
it could be anything, just some advice for life or something that helped you out like during your journey, anything like that.
Something that's helped me out during my journey. I was really close to my father.
Okay.
My father was a pastor growing up, and but he was someone who just worked really hard.
Nice.
And you know, in this life, we're not promised like, you know, roses or anything like that. Life is hard, and something my dad said to me when I had gone through a big failure in my life and I went through incapacitating depression was, you know, la vida es difícil, pero tú tienes que seguir luchando. Like you just have to keep on going. You just have to keep on fighting.
I like that.
And that's something that I've carried with me because, you know, there's many times where you want to give up on anything that you're doing because it's hard, but you have to keep fighting.
Keep going, man, because you never know what's around the corner, right? And it helps you like get to those points in your life where you can like learn like from your experiences, right? So I went through this, I was able to go this far, so like I know I can go further, right? Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you stopping like to do this interview with us, right? And we hope that you have a great one, okay?
All right.
All right.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.